Hey everybody, can you meet me in your Bibles? 1 Peter chapter 1. We're digging in a little more. What does it mean to be holy? And we've been using 1 Peter chapter 1 verses 13 through 16 as a key passage every week. Let's read it again. 1 Peter 1 verse 13, therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. As obedient children, do not be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance, but as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct, since it is written, you shall be holy, for I am holy. What does that mean? That's what we've been exploring. And we've been consistently reminding ourselves, it doesn't mean that I'm better than the people around me. Being holy doesn't mean I'm more worthy or deserving of a relationship with God than other people. It doesn't mean that I'm already perfect. I never make a mistake. I never have to say I'm sorry or I was wrong. But it does mean, lesson one, I'm dedicated. I'm set apart. I belong to God. Lesson two, it does mean I'm separated. I'm distinct. I am unashamedly different from those who have their hope set somewhere other than Jesus, who are living in ways that God doesn't want us to live. In this third lesson, I want to zero in on especially verse 13. Therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded. Do you see there is a connection between minds prepared for action and being holy as God is holy? What does it mean to be holy? To be holy is to have a mind prepared for action. We'll dig into the details of these examples as a class, but could I show you just three quick examples to set up our discussion for the evening? The first one from Genesis chapter 39, the example of young Joseph, sold by his brothers into slavery in Egypt, now rising as an important man in the household of a man named Potiphar. And there came a time when Potiphar's wife tempted Joseph to do very inappropriate things with her. How did young Joseph resist the temptations of Potiphar's wife? Listen to what we're told. In Genesis 39, verse 8, Joseph refused and said to his master's wife, behold, because of me, my master has no concern about anything in the house, and he has put everything that he has in my charge. He is not greater in this house than I am, nor has he kept back anything from me except you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? What do you hear there? What do you see? Joseph was sober-minded. You remember hearing that word in 1 Peter chapter 1? Joseph was sober-minded when he was tempted because he had his mind prepared. And having a sober, prepared mind helped Joseph resist strong temptation. Example number two from the Old Testament book of Daniel. Daniel also was a young man who was carried far away from home when the Babylonians conquered his homeland. And there is all of this pressure to be changed. A different name, different food, different lifestyle altogether. But I want you to listen in Daniel chapter 1 and verse 8, how Daniel resolved. Sounds like a mindset, right? Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. Therefore, he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to defile himself. Daniel was sober-minded, even though he was a long ways away from home, and he didn't defile himself. How? Why? Because his mind had been prepared. He resolved. And what about his three friends in Daniel chapter 3? How could they stand up and stand out from everyone else when everyone else was giving in to the pressure to worship a false god? Let's listen. Daniel chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to mighty King Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, what are they talking about? Nebuchadnezzar had said, if anyone does not bow down and worship the idol that I have set up, they'll be thrown into a fiery furnace. Talk about pressure. But these three young men say, if this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. That's what they believe. But if not, even if God doesn't save us from the fiery furnace, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. How was Joseph able to defeat temptation? He was sober-minded because his mind was prepared. How did Daniel avoid defiling himself a long ways away from home? He was sober-minded because his mind had been prepared. How did Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stand up and stand out from everyone else? They were sober-minded in the scariest of circumstances because their minds had been prepared. And that's our big idea for tonight. To be holy is to have a mind prepared for action. How can we do that? How can you and I be sober-minded and holy as our Father in heaven is holy? Let's talk about it. Thanks for being in class tonight. Hope you have a great rest of your class and a great rest of this week.